Buongiorno, hello, my name is Valeria Fusco. I'm an Italian teacher for foreign students and I'm here thanks to EduVita from Lecce. And I come from Italy and I teach Italian to adult and senior students. So this game is Who is it? And the Italian version is Indovina chi. I use this game every time that I explain something about body, and it's a great game to make it funnier, the description of a person. So generally the students are in two teams, they choose a character, a mysterious character, and the other one has to guess the aspect, the body, and of the features of the character of the other team. So let me say, I have to guess if the other character is a man or a woman. Is a man, okay, so I can get rid of all the women that I have here. Is she maybe old? And I can get rid of all the old women if this is a young character. Is she, does she has the glasses? And I can get rid of all the glasses characters. And eventually, with all the description, we get to the final person. Is it Harry? So in this case, if I'm right, that would be Harry. And this is a game about outfits, moda, fashion. We are in Italy, so this is a game that I use because people are very motivated. And in this case, there are different scenarios. In discoteca, I mean, what do you wear when you go to the disco? Or maybe ad un matrimonio, what do you wear when you go to a wedding? Quando fa freddo, what do you wear when it's cold? The students are in two teams again, and they have to choose the right items that the character has to wear in order to be ready for this environment. There is another version actually that I use in the classroom, especially with younger students. There is a big suitcase with so many clothes inside, and when I find a scenario like in discoteca, at the disco, they have to be ready and they have to be fast to get the right item and put it away. Okay, so this is the game basically. Do you know Pinocchio? This is a game that I use to explain imperfetto, a past tense of the Italian language, and to make it funnier. So this is Pinocchio, and I ask my students to think about their childhood and use imperfetto to say something that is true and something that is false about their childhood. Let's make this as an example. Something true about your aspect in the childhood when you were a child, and something that is false. I generally say to my students, I used to have short hair, straight hair, and blonde hair. And the other information is I used to play with boys. So generally, the information that seems very true is that I used to play with boys, and nobody guessed the right information. So it's a fun way to talk about childhood and using imperfetto. Have you ever been to a fortune teller? In this case, I use this game to explain future. After one or two lessons about future tense in Italian, I challenge my students to speak about future using this game, the fortune teller, vedo e prevedo. So I ask them to choose a card, this with some numbers, 4, 26 and 3, and there is here a kind of something that helps them to make a storytelling. So in this case 4 is figlio, kid. And 26 is sorpresa, surprise, and 3 is litigio, fight. So I asked them to make a story about this. It could be like after a big fight, you will have a surprise. You're gonna have a kid with your husband, and it's a way to use future and to make it funnier again. Okay. Passato prossimo is one of the worst nightmares of my students, so I have to make a fun version of this tense, verbal tense. To make this, after several lessons of passato prossimo, I generally use bingo. And it's something very easy to use. We play bingo with cards. Every student has his own card, and I pick one verb from this secret bag, and I have to say, okay, perdere la carta di credito. It's like to lose a credit card. It's a verb that we used to talk about previous experiences, so it's good because the student has to find if they have this card, and if they have this card, they have to cross this square, but it's not enough. They have to build a sentence that has sense, that makes sense with the right passato prossimo. So it would be ho perso la carta di credito when I was in USA. So this is a way to talk about your life, to have a kind of basic storytelling, and in this case you don't use just present tense, you use past tense as well. And bingo as another version, you can use bingo with so many topics. It can be with professions, it can be with food and everything. Have you ever been to Italy and traveled around all Italy? I give my students the occasion to travel from north to south, and with this game. Generally, at the end of a course of Italian classes, I ask them to play this game. There are different versions according to the level. There can be a beginner version of this game. They play in teams, obviously, and I ask them to use this dice, and if they get like they start from here, from Genova in Liguria, and maybe they throw this dice and they have 5, so they have to move till Milano. They have to get to Milano, and when they get to Milano, actually they have a task. It can be for beginners, can be like count backward from 10 to 0, and they have to do this to go ahead. There is another version for intermediate. In this case, I ask them to use more verbs and vocabulary. So for, they get to Aosta, in Valle d'Aosta, in the mountains, and the task could be describe how to make la caprese, but use imperative form. So generally when they finish, the reward is an Aperol Spritz or an ice cream, and they really want to use this game for this reason.